Hello friends, welcome to the marketing videos of Dr. Alka Jain. In today's video, the viewers will be familiarized with the concept of international marketing. We understand from the term international marketing that we are going to talk about marketing beyond the borders of our country. Before we start the discussion, please like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel so that you do not miss my future video lectures. This video is helpful for all commerce and management students for their academic achievement. At the same time, it is also useful for those entrepreneurs who are willing to start or expand a business to the international level, as it will help in developing skills in analyzing challenges and opportunities in foreign markets and to be able to develop international marketing strategies and plans for their businesses. We have taken help of various scholarly writings on international marketing in preparing this video. I understand that the students who are learning international marketing, they already have some knowledge of international business, especially if they are management students, and this is a paper which they are studying in their specialization of international business. In this slide, I have tried to make it clear what is the relationship between international business and international marketing. International business comprises of all the business activities including human resource management, information technology, finance, operations, supply chain management, and marketing, etc. Hence, we see that the international marketing is just a part of international business management. First requirement of the topic is to understand what is the meaning of international marketing. The term international marketing is made of two words, international and marketing. International means involving more than one nation, or it is something that is existing, occurring, or carried on between nations. Now we need to understand what is marketing. In the process of marketing, a marketer defines the needs of a customer and then takes steps to satisfy the need with an objective of completing the exchange process. We should keep in mind that this definition should not be mistaken with the popular understanding of marketing that focuses on promotional activities only. Promotion is just a part of the process of marketing. We understand that international marketing is identifying and satisfying the need of customers from the host country. This satisfaction should end in a transaction. Home country is the country whose company wants to go for overseas marketing, while host country is the country where the company wants to market its products. The first definition given by Hasey and Katora states that international marketing is the performance of business activities that direct the flow of goods and services to consumers or users in more than one nation. Here they talk about the performance of those business activities through which the goods and services will be made acceptable for sale in foreign countries. Second definition in the slide is given by Walsh, which states that international marketing is the marketing of goods and services across national frontiers. Here Walsh mentions that these business activities are necessarily marketing activities which include marketing communication, promotion and selling, etc. Now we will understand the definition given by American Marketing Association, which is complete in itself. It says that international marketing is the multinational process of planning and executing the conception, pricing, promotion and distribution of ideas, goods and services to create exchanges that satisfy individual and organizational objectives. This third definition gives us one more dimension of international marketing, as it covers both the types of customer, that is individual as well as organizational customers. International marketing is performing marketing activities in the nations across the borders of the home country for the individual and the organizational customers of the host country. Now is the right time to quote Roger Best. He says that international marketing is an evolutionary process for companies with an appetite for growth and the stomach for risk. I have highlighted three terms in this statement: evolutionary process, appetite for growth, and stomach for risk. The term evolutionary process indicates that international marketing is not a one-time activity, but it is a continuous process that keeps evolving as the time demands. Appetite for growth hints at the reason why companies enter into the field of international marketing. When companies want to expand and diversify, international marketing is one of the options available to marketers. The third term, stomach for risk, indicates that the international market is not as safe as domestic marketing is, because you have to move out of your comfort zone, that is your own home country market. Risk is always involved in any kind of and at any level of international marketing. So if you can bear the consequences of those risks, only then you can succeed in international marketing. Next slide discusses the reasons why companies enter into international marketing. First reason can be domestic market constraints. These domestic market constraints can be government policies and regulations which provide subsidies and facilities to the exporter or the international marketer, due to which the domestic marketer ventures to enter an unknown foreign market. Growth of overseas market. At times, overseas markets grow in such a manner that they attract international marketers. For example, Indian customers have recently increased the level of their paying capacity and the new inclination towards higher living standards instead of being satisfied with less resources. And this has brought certain changes to the population of customers here. This has attracted more international marketers to the Indian market. Next point is increased productivity. When the domestic player comes across increased productivity in his manufacturing unit, then he is left with surplus products to be sold. In such a case, the manufacturer, when starts looking for newer markets, international markets come to him as one of the options. Next is relative profitability. When the companies see that selling in international market brings the profit in dollars or euros, then he is attracted by this relative profitability. Next point is diversification to reduce business risk. When a company starts selling in more than one market, then the risk of market being saturated or not responding to the product well lowers down. Hence, the companies who want to reduce business risk also enter international markets. Last is strategic vision. Vision of an organization comes from the top management. If their vision is to keep their business activities limited to domestic market, the company will operate in domestic market only. And if they wish to operate in the overseas markets, this becomes a reason for the company to enter into international marketings. In this slide, we are discussing variables of product demand in foreign countries. There are various variables existing in international markets which may affect the demand of the product your company wants to market. First is population of the countries. When we say population of the countries, it is not just the number of people living in the host country, but we are also talking about the characteristics of the people of that country. These characteristics can be their cultural, religious or social habits which differentiate them from the customers of other countries. For example, when McDonald's entered the Indian market, it studied the variable vegetarianism well and introduced an adapted product called Maharaja Burger. In this example, the food trend vegetarianism was a strong variable for the product either to be accepted or to be rejected. Per capita incomes. If the international marketer is entering an overseas market with an expensive or relatively expensive product, he has to analyze if the customer in that market is in a position to pay the price for the product or not. Hence, per capita income of the customers of the market also becomes a variable of the product demand. Next is climatic conditions. Climatic conditions means the kind of climate international marketer comes across in the new international markets. This indicates the temperature, rain, snow, flooding, common earthquakes and lighting, etc. Such climatic conditions may hamper the marketing activities of an international marketer if not favorable. Next is education levels. If the population of one host country is illiterate and well educated of the other host country, then the marketing communication message to the customers will be affected, and so can be affected the product demand. Next variable can be the religion practiced by the population. What kind of religion is practiced by your international customer also becomes a variable affecting product demand. This not only affects food industry but at times the clothing industry and spiritual products industry also. For example, in a country where Islam is practiced more, Muslim caps can be sold. But the same is not true for a country where Hinduism is practiced. Their orange colored kurtas may be more in demand. Next can be cultural ethos. What kind of culture is practiced in a country becomes a strong variable for product demand. For example, in a culture where joint family system is common, demand for services like trust or old age homes will not be existing at all. But in those countries where nuclear families are in the cultural system, semi-cooked food, day boarding service and crèche services will be in high demand. Then political stability. If a country does not have political stability, then people may show less interest in real estate industry products. Hence, their demand may be less in that particular international market. This slide discusses the challenges in international marketing. The companies which go international, they face a lot of challenges in international or foreign market due to differences in consumer needs, language, culture, economies, political environment, government regulations and logistics, retail market infrastructure, etc. Variety of consumer needs. International customer does not show the same kind of consumer needs which domestic customer shows. Hence, making the product acceptable in a new foreign market becomes difficult for the marketer. Various languages. If the language spoken in the host country is different from the language spoken in the home country, then marketing communication will have to be redesigned. Various cultures. Different cultures generate different kinds of consumer needs. Also, they reflect peculiar kind of consumer behavior because of their culture. Different economies. There are three kinds of economies: market economy, totalitarian economy and mixed economy. In market economy, the businesses are in private hands, while in totalitarian economy, the businesses are in government control, and in mixed economies, both have their percentages in business. The structure of economy is going to become a challenge for the marketer if not handled properly. Political environment. If political stability is seen in the foreign market, then change in the marketing strategies is less required, but if the government keeps changing, then strategies may need frequent changes. Government regulations. Strict regulations against entry in foreign market like heavy tariffs or prohibitive tariffs act as a challenge for the international marketer. Retail market infrastructures. If logistics and infrastructure of retail markets is not in line with the distribution requirements of the marketer's products, then this may be a big challenge. What are the driving forces in international business? We'll discuss what kind of forces exist in the home country and the host country which drive the international marketer to go ahead with his marketing activities in other countries. When a country liberalizes its foreign trade policy, then international producers are attracted towards that market. For example, in India before 1991, government policies were not very attractive for the international marketers. But with the announcement of a liberalized foreign trade policy, many international companies entered Indian markets with their products. Second is gap in demand and supply. If the international marketing research shows a trend that supply for a particular commodity is less than the demand in the host country, then this gap becomes a driving force for the international producer to market his product in this country. Newer needs of international customers. When international customers show newer needs which the international producer can fulfill, then this becomes a driving factor for him to enter this particular market. Next is revolutionary communication achievements. In the olden era, when it was difficult to communicate with the buyers in other countries, international trade was also difficult. But now with recent IT revolutions, communication has become faster and smoother, almost instant. So the companies which were hesitant in entering the foreign markets have started making contacts there and doing business. New technology. Newer technologies for transport and assembling goods or digital platforms for presentations have acted as a driving force for international marketing. Low cost production. If an international company can produce a product at a low cost which is internationally being sold at a higher price, then it may think of exporting that product because of the infrastructure, skill set or low cost labor availability in his country. Thus, low-cost manufacturing also is a driving force as it generates huge gap in manufacturing cost and the selling price. Large volumes of production. When we start selling at international level, the volume of production goes high because of accumulated demand of many countries. In such a case, companies can use economies of scale with this larger volume of production. Optimum utilization of resources. Resources which were lying idle after domestic supply may be utilized for more production which is needed for international supplies. Experience. Once the company gets experience from exporting or marketing in one country, then the same company does not hesitate in marketing in some other country also. This way, broadened experience of international marketers broadens the international market for them. Not only experience, but improvement in transportation technology has also broadened the marketplace for international marketers. What can be the restraining forces for the international marketers? First is high demand of the product in own country. If the product is demanded more in the home country than the supply by domestic producers, then it becomes a restraining force as the marketer's own country needs and wants this product. Second is competition from domestic players. Since international markets are open to other domestic players also, hence competition from such local suppliers may act as a restraining force if it is too high. Management myopia. When the management is looking for short-term goals rather than long-term goals, then such a situation is called management myopia. If the management of a company is content with domestic market profits only and does not want to expand, then the international marketing cannot be done by the company. Organizational culture. Favorable or unfavorable culture of the organization also decides whether the organization will go international or not. If the culture does not support international trade or trade with a particular country, then it acts as a restraining force for international marketing. Tariff and non-tariff barriers. Tariff and non-tariff barriers are direct restraining forces. High tariff, prohibitive tariff, variable tariffs and embargoes kind of situations do not encourage international trade. Government rules and regulations. Government policies of the home country and the host country also become a restraining force if they are not favorable for the marketer and his product. Next force can be sophisticated customers from developed countries. If the company decides to supply to developed countries, then the product is meant for sophisticated customers and the standards of acceptance of the product in the host country will be very high. These standards, if not met, will discourage international marketing. Intense global competition. Competition in the international markets does not come from local manufacturers only, but it becomes intense as the market is open to all the international marketers also who are producing in 100 other countries. Facing such a high number of marketers in the same market may discourage the exporter or the international marketer. So friends, I hope you are familiarized with the concept of international marketing. Enjoy marketing. Thank you.